I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're venturing into the cosmic tale of Stars in the Deep, Destiny by David F. Snider. This gripping science fiction saga tells the tale of the colony ship Destiny, veered off course into the unknown. From sabotage and murder to finding a new home on a water world inhabited by sentient beings, this story blends the thrill of space exploration with the raw human spirit of survival and love. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. David, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Let's give the folks at home an overview. Tell them what the book is about.
Well, the story takes place on board a colony ship called Destiny. Mm-hmm. And they've been out for a couple of years almost, and the navigation computer seems to foul up and sends them off in the wrong direction. The nature of the drive that gets them across space does not allow for humans to really recognize where they are during each jump. So they're not really aware for completely that they're off course until after it's been after they've been going for a little while. They jump out of what I call multi-space, and so the ship is just cruising along unpowered while they figure out what's wrong and what happened. And so the story continues with a number of crazy incidences where some people feel that the leadership is somehow being disingenuous, and they try to force things back on what they think is the right direction, even though that's really kind of impossible given their circumstances. So it's the story of how that gets resolved. And then they discover still within reach, a planet locally that they can make it to that looks like a promising candidate. Then they discover it's a water world.
Which and even more challenges await them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the process behind developing the Ambuca and what they represent in the story.
Well, I had a lot of fun with that. This is my first attempt at creating a world and creating a race of people out of nothing. That is a whole lot harder than many people realize. What I did was I kind of went with the philosophy that things needed to appear alien, but yet still understandable, still recognizable. And so I did kind of what some of the writers in the Star Trek genre did, was they would take historical groups like the Romans, the Romulans, and the Klingons. I forget who they were supposed to be like, but they wove their aliens into a culture that was similar to an ancient culture from Earth. So what I did was I borrowed from the ancient Indian culture, and using an English very crude dive into some of the language of Sanskrit. I was able to create characters and names. I'm no linguist, so I simply used phrases that I got out of a Sanskrit Tamil dictionary and created, for instance, the names of characters from that world are based upon their job in life. So the one of the main characters, whose name is Agra Ducha. Agra means first, and Ducha, it has to do with being an ambassador. That was his job, and that was his name.
Exactly.
So I just kind of had a little fun with that. And in my preface, I acknowledged the Sanskrit and the people of the Indus region, and beg their forgiveness for any total discombobulation of their language, and I have immense respect for them, and so that was my choice.
Yeah. Have you envisioned this as a film, perhaps?
Actually, I have, but the one attempt I kind of wound up involved with turned out to be less than advertised. So I'm out on that score, but eventually, maybe we'll see.
The book is out there. You never know whose hands it's going to wind up in. And you never know if Christopher Nolan's going to give you a ring someday and say, hey, I want to turn your your book into a film, or maybe even George Lucas. He could use a new script. I think he's done with Star Wars at this point.
Well, that probably is the case.
Yeah. Is there a message that you hope readers take away from the trials and the triumph of Destiny's crew?
Well, I think there's a number of things that we can gain from watching them go through the craziness that they went through. That in spite of hurdles that we run into that seem to be life ending, maybe they can be turned around in many cases, and with simply unifying and there's a place in here for love, for forgiveness, and those things are very important. I think that sometimes they're overlooked in our helter-skelter life.
Absolutely. And I think within the context of a science fiction novel, they really bring it to life and make it feel very, very human, which is great as well. Are you working on a sequel?
Actually, yes. Before I came on, I was reviewing what I've written so far in my next book, which will be a pickup where this one left off.
Wonderful. Do you have a working title for that yet?
I'm looking at Stars in the Deep, Shining One.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we're looking forward to that for sure. I think fans of your book would be happy to hear that a sequel is out and that the story continues. And I think this might be good for more than one sequel. I think it actually could turn into a series of books, don't you think?
It's possible.
Yeah. We'll see where the
possible.
inspiration takes you, my friend. The name of the book we're talking about today is called Stars in the Deep, Destiny. It's written by David F. Snider. It's a gripping tale of science fiction that tells the story of the colony ship Destiny. It veers off course into the unknown, and there are many, many challenges the crew faces, from sabotage to murder to finding a new home in what could be best described as a water world. David, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.